All right, I guess we can call the meeting to order at about, what, 12:37. So thank you, Cheryl. I appreciate you for taking the minutes there. It's very kind of you.
No problem.
So
Jeanette
yeah, all right. So
has joined the meeting.
good, good, good. Okay, welcome. All right.
Hello,
So
I found the code, the entering code, luckily.
okay.
Oh,
All right.
you're a code when you call in?
Yeah,
All right. In terms of, I guess we'll do old business first. The financial disclosures from last year, Tracy or Cheryl, do you know where we were exactly, where we finished at? That type of thing?
My understanding is that, by the end of the year, we acquired all the financial disclosures from everybody on the list. As far
Okay.
as done, not that they were all timely, as you already know that, but, it was kind of a collaborative effort with Tracy, Sunny and myself. But we did get everything by the end of the year.
Okay, perfect. Good. Okay.
Excuse me. Sure.
Go ahead, Ron.
I gave you and I gave Betsy a report on the first 50 or 60, if you
Okay.
remember that. And I do want to note that 27 were not correctly done. And I guess the ones that were done, I mean, you got all the ones that were, but the incorrect, most of them, was information we were given when the investigator was there, when the term NA no longer applied. And a lot of people were going on what we had told, that NA was applicable. But there is a draft that I gave you, and Betsy, I believe I sent you an email on that.
Okay. Okay.
So in effect, we're not complying. It's not nobody's fault. We weren't told until the state person came. So it was a cross between our people filling it out and the MAD government saying, well, NA is not applicable.
Well, that's something that I wanted to address here, because now that I'm getting the new ones in for 2021, am I supposed to be the one to tell, like, if they come in and I see that, like, they're not putting NA, for example, am I supposed to send them back to the people, or I would, like, right. It was my understanding, they get reviewed by the committee, and then, like Ron said, they give me like a little report. I'm just wondering, am I supposed to be the person to send them back or contact them, or I don't know how that works, to be honest.
I think that's right. Ron, just one
Excuse
second.
me. I think.
Go ahead, Ron.
I think I have written a suggestion. I think we shouldn't put that into somebody else's. I think that's our responsibility. And I think one of the corrections was if we met as a group and just at a certain date, like January or whatever it is, and our process is that we would go through it, and then we can inform Cheryl or somebody, here's what we found, would you send it under our auth, the fact that these are incorrect or whatever it is. I think that there's two roles here. One, when people do not turn them in, maybe the Cheryl or someone could inform it's not in, but it's our responsibility at this point, in my opinion, to review every financial report. I'm open to anyone.
Excuse me, Ron, this is Jeanette. If NA is the not applicable, is not acceptable, what do you use?
You're supposed to put we were given that instruction on what he wanted. Can't put does not apply. Just say, do you have people working or what? None. You can't use any abbreviation. But getting to the point I'm saying is, and if the board disagrees with me, fine. It shouldn't be some secretary adding to it's our responsibility to actually look at those financial reports.
No, yes, and we do, yes. And Ron, you're wonderful. You always have sat down and have reviewed them, and we all have as a group reviewed the entire bunch and there submitted. So yeah, so no, obviously we would continue with that. But Cheryl, I would ask that if you get ones that look to be incomplete, we should get flagged, and obviously we should be kind of maybe you could shoot us an email to that effect. You know what I mean? When you make the final decision, at least maybe bring it to our attention so that we can then, say, all right, maybe PDF me that one over to the committee. And then we say, all right, please reach out to them and tell them that they need to do further, or we send out a letter, or we either contact them by phone saying they need to complete it.
I'm already seeing it, Betsy, because when they come in, I scan them, and obviously I see them because I'm scanning them now. I'm not just putting them in a folder anymore.
Right,
So I
right.
know there are some that have come in where there's like, they're not putting the NAs, for example. And that was something that was, included when we sent out the first letter this year. We specifically told all these people that if, put NA,
Right.
don't leave
Or
it
none.
blank. That they
Right.
would actually be returned. And I'm still
Right.
getting some, I've already noticed that they're not
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah, I think it would be helpful for us. I don't know what can be done, Tracy, in terms of technology, but I think in this remote world, if I don't know, does the city use OneDrive or anything like that, or we can make these password protected or something so that we're able to review these remotely.
I think we talked to Frank about having one specific place where they could upload them, and he was like, no, 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 no. Our IT guy is very, very sensitive about what goes in and out of our website.
Mhm.
Maybe we could, Cheryl scans them. Maybe she could share them, but I think if she shares them with us via, our email, they are exposed. Do you know what I'm
I know
saying?
Yeah.
we do. We send for my job with the courts. We send things all the time via OneDrive to our experts. You know what I mean? And that's been satisfactory. And then we have a limited time frame which they could pull it off the cloud or even just review it on the cloud. But I think we gotta figure out some way to be able to review these.
Yeah, if I could just
Yeah,
add
I'll
something to the,
Frank, I'll ask IT if there's even a space that we could scan them to where maybe have a code to get into it where you could
Yes.
look
Yes.
for the board members. So let me
Yes.
talk further with him. Like he's very
Thank you. Thank you.
very protective of the city website.
No, I understand. Yeah. We use, like I said, we use OneDrive is what we've been using with Outlook. So, and that's worked well.
OneDrive and it's on Outlook.
Yes, OneDrive and pretty much everybody. I don't know what your email system is, if it's Outlook or what you guys use. What's that?
It is Outlook.
Oh, okay, then you could see if it's activated, but see if, OneDrive should have the ability to do that, but yeah.
Okay, let me talk with him and see if we can work that out.
All right, that would be good. Joe, you were saying you had something to say, Joe?
if just a couple of quick things. First off, the form that we developed isn't the one you guys sent out. I sent mine back on the form that we had developed. So you'll notice a difference because mine actually has the city seal on it and it has the imaging that we changed. And to Betsy's earlier point, yes, it's my opinion is the same, it's the board's responsibility to review those. And I'm sure that IT can find a solution that allows us just to have access to a code to look at them so that we don't have to share them via email. So let's do two things. Number one, the reason we corrected the form was to make it easier so people weren't filling it out incorrectly. And based on the form that we did, if there's still some confusion there, I can make some of those fields required fields so that they don't go beyond that point to try to fill it out. But we already did that, but it looks like the form we're using is not the newest and latest and greatest one.
So,
Yeah.
So what we have to do is basically accept your form, Joe. A medium like
It
this.
wasn't my form, that's what I'm saying. The one I sent back
No.
is off the latest form version. The one I received was not.
Yeah, you're right,
No,
Joe.
I know
In fact,
that.
sent yours in. Yep.
Joe, the
Yeah.
form that you sent back, did you send that form before you filled it out? I don't recall seeing a revised form. Can you send it to me again and I'll make sure it's on our website?
I can. Yeah, I can. The only reason I'm mentioning it is I think the only difference, and I just want to make sure that the city's fine with it, I don't believe the one that I had sent you has the watermark confidential on it. I can add that if it's required. So if you pull up the document, or I can send it over to you, if we need to add a watermark, or if there's some other thing that needs to be added to that one, I can do that on my end. I just need to know if it's acceptable to the city or not. And I'll send that back over to you after the meeting so you can have a copy of it.
Thank you, Joe.
Don, I'll send it to you electronically.
Okay, so we'll try to figure out an electronic way of viewing so we can then be able to flag for Cheryl whether or not people have to be contacted for things to be followed up with. And then, like I said, we'll continue to make sure we got the most current form that's being sent out to people. Okay, that's all I have in terms of old business. Does anybody have anything else for old business before I move into new?
Yeah, what do we want to do, Betsy, with the forms that have not been filled out correctly, that we know have errors based on Ron's comments? What do we want to do with those guys? There's 27 of them.
I think they were honest mistakes. And I think that, you know, if someone were to come in the next year and check last year's, we could basically say they were correct until, in other words, when that man did his review, most of our people had their stuff in and did comply to our outlines. I don't think we should have to ask these people to redo them unless you guys think so. Because it's just, when you look at them, Joe, all it was 7 or 8 NAs on each of the 27. And I don't know what the ones that Cheryl got. I mean, I think it's just it's something that could be explained to anybody.
All right, well, my take on it, as long as they were, quote, incorrect pre-audit, I agree with you, but if they are incorrect after we've been audited and told they were incorrect, I think we would have a problem with that procedure.
Yeah.
I just don't want to make sure, I mean, we recently got audited. We have a corrective action plan that I'm assuming we're going to talk a little bit about today. And then within that corrective action plan, what I don't want to see is a situation where we were noted that we were doing corrective action, and then, oh, by the way, after our corrective action plan, still accepted wrong forms.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was just looked at, is all I'm saying.
All right, well, why don't we move into that topic as a part of the old business? So Tracy had given us the corrective action plan. Joe, you were very good and went through it and provided feedback, and I forwarded that over to Corp Counsel. And then Tracy, I know you said there was additional. The comptroller's office has said they've received it. But wondering from you, I know you said there's some further information or further comment discussion about the current state of the corrective action plan and what other feedback we should do before the March deadline.
Yeah,
Well, Joe went through the new proposed corrective action plan, which I got back. I haven't really looked at it yet. I just believe that it wasn't.
Yeah, you're correct. Tracy, all I did with that is basically the same thing you're noting, is that some of the implementation was missing. I think we're all aware of that. I think it's just going to be a matter of, now, my understanding of this is we have to discern between an audit recommendation and an audit requirement. Just because you had an audit recommendation does not, in my mind, say that they required you to do these things, but that really falls back on the city to say yes or no. And although the board can certainly make a recommendation, I think some of those items really need to be discussed at the city level and then say, okay, yes, it was an audit recommendation. However, we aren't going to address that for this particular reason, or we are going to address it, and here's the action plan, if that makes sense to you.
It does, and
when you say that, Joe, when you say that, excuse me, but when you say that, you mean both the council and the mayor's office has to do that? So that there's symphony.
My impression of it. It's certainly not something the board would be doing.
No, but it has to come from both parties that are responsible. It shouldn't all fall on one person, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think I do know what you're saying. I think that really that needs to be addressed at the quote unquote government level, not at the board level. I don't know how else to describe it.
Right, absolutely. All we do is suggest.
Sorry, Tracy, go ahead now. You had one.
I have shared this with Bill Borrell and John Aurelio and asked, them to review and, make comments, recommendations. I've not heard from either yet. So I will raise that with them and ask whose responsibility ultimately will this fall under implementing? Or do we want to implement it? So I can raise those questions. I'll raise it by email and copy everybody.
Okay,
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
okay.
you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Mm. All right, we'll keep an eye on the deadline, so, okay. Anything else for old business? Okay, well, then let's start off with new business. Welcome, Emily, do you pronounce it Emily? I don't want to mispronounce it.
Yes, it's Emily. Thank you.
Okay, okay, and tell us a little bit about yourself and why you wanted to join us.
Well, I grew up in Utica, moved away, and now I've been back for a number of years. I'm taking care of my mom at her home here in Utica, and I've been to several council meetings in the past. Haven't really kept up with them since they're in the virtual mode, a little bit, but not as much. And in any case, this position came up, and they asked me if, you know, I'd like to participate, and I said, sure.
Great, great.
Anything I can do to contribute or participate is good. Thank you.
Anything about your background that would be helpful to us as a committee, like any financial background or anything? Just curious, just so we like to tap into skill sets.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm not an accountant, although given my life experiences, I've had enough to deal with, you know, personal finances and that. I'm my mother's trustee. I take care of the investments, things like that. Have dealt with
Okay.
accountants in the past and trust,
Okay.
all kinds of things like that. But you know, I think in general, a lot of the work experience I have, I could integrate a lot of that background skill set. I spent a lot of time in account management, customer service, that type of thing.
Great,
I
great,
worked in high tech. I worked in media.
great,
And I like to think I have a lot of common sense and I'm very fair.
great. No, that's great. No, it's just that's nice to know. And I guess I'm Betsy Fortino, and I've been on this committee since Mayor Palmieri started it several years ago now, and this is my second term. And I'm a lawyer by day. I work for Mental Hygiene Legal Service, and I'm run the Utica and Syracuse office. And as of Monday, as I mentioned to Joe, I just became the acting director for the fourth department. So I now oversee Buffalo, Rochester, Utica, and Syracuse. So it's a busy state for me. But yeah, so that's a little bit of me in a nutshell. Joe, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is
May I
Joe
ask Emily a question? Go ahead, Joe. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. You had a quick question. I'll let you take that.
I wanted to know if Emily was given the mission statement of the ethics committee and the one in writing that we all received. Has she been given anything in writing on what the current?
I did. I mean,
ethics committee is?
I don't know if she's gotten a chance to get it yet, but I did shoot an email over. If a similar folder could be prepared for her that would have the regs in it in the city policy, you know, on what we follow as an ethics board. I sent that, I don't know, a while back, but if possible, in the past, John, they had created files for each member to have kind of the basic statute or regs or, you know, the city policy.
Put John on that for you.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. And then to Emily, if you have an email address, if we could get that, so that I usually communicate with people in that way.
I have
Yeah,
it.
I think that Tracy has that.
Okay.
On our email, I don't know if you saw that. She was on the email invite, so I'll get it out to everybody again.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Sorry, Joe, you were saying? Go ahead.
No worries. I do apologize because I have a hard cutoff in about 4 minutes. So I'm going to go through my quote unquote background real quick. And then Betsy,
Okay.
I want to address something that you had mentioned that doesn't
Yeah,
need me
yeah.
to be on the phone how you do it. My name is Joe Langlois. I've been in Utica for about 16 years now. I moved here to work at Utica Boilers Company. I'm the marketing manager. I've been on the board, I don't know, I think I've been on for at least 4 or 5 years now. The time seems to fly. Betsy did send me an email, which I think it's more appropriate, Betsy, for that discussion to take place within the group.
Yeah,
If you are due to, and congratulations, by the way, with
Yeah.
your new situation. If you are in a situation where you feel you can no longer serve in your role, I'd be more than happy to do that. But I wanted that conversation to take place with the board members to make sure everybody was fine with that. And I'm not dropping off the call because of that. It's just I have another commitment I have to be on at 1 o'clock, and I apologize for that.
yeah. I was wondering, yeah.
Charlie,
Yeah,
And then
I'm just
we-
wondering, I want to throw it out there, yes, because I am just now becoming the acting director. So I'm looking to see if anybody would be willing to be the chair. I mean, certainly I'm hanging in there. But I can just tell you, like today, I'm super, super swamped with responsibilities. And I certainly want to give it my all to my main occupation and do my best as the director. So I'm just looking to see if anyone here on our committee would want to step up and serve as chair, and I'm happy to continue to serve as a member. This is my term expires this December, so I do want to see it through as best as I'm able to. But it is, I want to serve right by the board, and it is time consuming and it is important work that we do. And I want to do it justice, and I just know I have a tremendous amount to do as director of an agency. And running 2 offices because the state freeze right now, they can't hire a replacement for me in Utica and Syracuse. So I'm, kind of spread thin. And so I just want to see if it's possible
I say,
if anyone can help.
yeah, and trust me when I say Betsy had approached me about it. Trust me, I'm probably just as busy as Betsy is. Unfortunately for poor Betsy, she's doing a lot more on other things that I'm not. But you will not be offending me in the least if somebody else wants to take over that role. So please, I don't feel like I would be offended by that. I'm not at all. So I'll leave it up to the group to make it.
Well, Joe, I think it's a great recommendation from Betsy on that. I'd just like to know that if you feel you want to make that commitment for a year or two, given as where we stand right now. I mean, I think it would be a nice succession from Betsy to you to do that, but are you willing to commit that?
Yeah, I am. It's one of those things. I wouldn't say I would do it if I couldn't. If I get into a situation, understand, over last year, I, for work, had to go to Europe for 3 years for a project. If something like that came up, then it would be virtual meeting based. I certainly wouldn't say I would do it and then not do it. So
we just want that
trust me,
continuity. You'd be great for a continuity factor to replace Betsy, I think. I don't know what Jeanette thinks.
Well, no, thank you. Thanks, Ron. I am listening, and I absolutely agree. I think Joe would make a good chair, and I know that in the situation that if Joe had to step out for a while, that we could all step up and pitch in and help out. And of course, with Betsy's knowledge of it, I think it would still run fine, and especially with Tracy being out of the mayor's office, it will get covered. And I don't think we would ever have to worry about it not being covered as, somebody running it.
Right.
So I know at the 1 o'clock mark, I don't want to put pressure on Joe. So don't feel like, I understand we all have a tremendous amount to do. So, maybe we can think about it and we can definitely reconvene probably in maybe the next couple of weeks because we have that March deadline for the corrective action plan. So
all right,
if you
I'm going to drop off now, Betsy. So I'm going to drop off now.
Okay.
Once you
Thank you,
summarize
Joe.
the meeting, I'll just kick them over. Thanks, everybody.
Okay. Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Okay.
Joe.
Bye, Joe.
Glad to be virtually. Take care.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ciao.
Okay.
Has left the meeting.
All right. So like I said, I would like that determined. So I appreciate if Joe's not able to, which is understandable. If anybody else would want to able to do it, that would be great. Appreciate it. Tracy, I don't know if that, I know you're new to this too, and Emily. So I don't know, but I would appreciate it because I know I want to be responsive to you, but I know my inbox is blowing up as we speak. So.
Right now.
We can relate, yes, we understand.
So, all right. I'll continue to muddle through, but let's think over the next couple weeks. And Emily, even if you know, like I said, I was brand new to the board when I became chair, you know, and that's just, you know, we started off that way, which isn't necessarily a bad thing either. So maybe if once you get the different things from the city in terms of the regs and whatnot, and we talk, you know, obviously you have a very supportive group here, so you're not flying alone. But it would be nice to have someone maybe who has, if you have the time, just to be able to connect up and be responsive to Corp Council, you know, and their needs, and vice versa. You know, that alone would be doing a real service, just because it's, you know, I feel bad that I just, you know, I'm a professor. I got 2 kids with special needs, plus, you know, my job. You know, and I'm getting older myself, so I'm not a superwoman like I used to be. So, but all right, so I'll leave that to you, and we'll talk again in a couple weeks for that. But is there any other? Obviously, have we received many? Another new item would be that this year's disclosures have some. I know Jeanette submitted hers. How are we doing with the updated list of name? You know, the updated list that we have to deal with, and then have we actually received any?
I've got 26 returns so far.
All right. Now, how did those go? How did those go up by regular mail? Because I didn't get one in the mail, but I'm just wondering if that's because maybe did you have my old address, or did it not go out by mail, or how was it done?
I've got a new one.
I think maybe I must have had an old address because I definitely know I mailed one.
Okay.
Nobody-
Yeah.
I mailed.
I'll send it to you. I'll send it to her.
Okay, it's no problem. And I usually submit the court system one anyways. We haven't gotten that yet. You know what I mean? So that's the one I'll be submitting. You know, so no worries. But I
I've
just
got
wanted to
nothing in the
confirm.
mail either. I got nothing in the mail myself.
Oh, I received one. I
So-
received something from Corporation Council about a week and a half ago, but I had submitted one prior to that.
Yeah.
This
Yes,
year?
She did. I have that, yes.
Betsy, just so you know the status of the list, I've been going through the board list, and I've also been going through the list that John Aurelio had created, listing everybody that has to do the financial disclosure.
Mm-hmm.
And it's out of date, actually. That as well as our board list. So I've been working with the mayor and with several of the departments to make sure that our lists are all up to date. So maybe
Okay.
by our next meeting, I'll be able to give Cheryl, you know, and the committee an updated list of the board members, expiration of their service. I also was just given a 2021 vendor list. It's 700 vendors. So that is going to be the list that we have to compare any of the outside, you know, anything listed
Right.
on the financial disclosures.
Okay.
So I am working on all of that. I've been working a couple weeks. The mayor has several appointments that need to be done. Him and I are trying to get together, but we were in budget. So I
Right.
haven't really pinned him down. So I would say by the next meeting, we should have an updated list, knowing who has to give us disclosures. We should have the boards all appointed. We should have the new board members sworn in with an oath, signed with an oath. Because I have implemented that with the clerk's office. Anybody that gets a green sheet and is sworn in on a board now is given the oath by the clerk's office. And they are also signing the oath book once they get they're giving the actual oath. They weren't doing
Okay.
that.
Okay. Okay.
So,
And then
If I may ask, if
Go
I
ahead.
may ask, I was reappointed last year, I believe, by the mayor, but I did not get a green sheet.
of course you don't.
I'm pretty sure it was last year.
Okay, Jeanette, I'll make
I never
sure
got
when I
one.
look over.
All right, thank
Um,
you. I appreciate that.
I'll see if there was a
Is
green
there a-
sheet. There may have been a green sheet done and they didn't give it to you. Do you recall being,
Yeah,
signing the
I
book
give
with the
it.
clerk's office?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you. I don't remember. Jeanette, did you sign the book in the clerk's office?
I did.
When
I
you were-
did. It was in December, if I remember. Whenever my term
Yeah,
was
I
up,
think
I
I
did.
did
I went
too.
down and signed it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
because I
I
went
have
through all my
also-
stuff and then I couldn't find it.
Betsy,
I
did you
have
sign it?
also asked,
I have, yes, in the past, yes, for my terms, yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
I have
Yes.
also asked, the clerk to give me on each board and each committee, the updated list of who has signed an oath and who was given an oath,
Yeah.
so we know. Because that was one of the issues raised when they did their ethics review.
Mhm.
So I'm
Tracy, I
also
have a
working on
question.
that.
I have a question in regards to the term limits. I know Rob was elected mayor for his third term. Was it last year or 2 years ago?
I've
And-
been 2 terms, 5 years both times. That's what I was supposed
Right,
to be.
but what
My
I'm
first
saying is,
term was
I
5 years.
think, right, but what I'm saying is, I think that our terms on the Board of Ethics is going to overlap whoever the next mayor will be.
And
Yep.
that's okay. Because you do serve for a certain amount of time.
Yeah. So whoever the new mayor will be, that we will be serving the new mayor for the remainder of our term on the Ethics Committee if we're appointed by the board.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Yep. Same way with the city council.
Yep.
You know, 3 of the, could we get, do we have 6 members on the board now?
No,
Is that what-
Jason, well, yes, we did, because I think Emily filled Jason, and then Tracy was the new
Yeah.
one, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
All we said, and it's 6 is fine with me, but I remember when Rob came into the office and we were talking about the initial draft and things, and somebody said, well, 6, what happens if you tie or something? And Rob said, I don't care if they want to add. The way the original mandate was, the mayor's office picked 2, the city council picked 3. Then the state came in and said, well, you have to have somebody from government there too. And I remember Rob just saying, I don't care if you want to make it 7, but right now, the number, am I right, Tracy, is 6?
Yes, we have 6.
Yeah, so-
3 the appointment and 3 the council.
Yeah, and I don't care if it's, like when Jason was replaced, I don't know if that was the city. All I'm saying is take a look at the original mandate was 2 from the mayor's office, 3 from the city council. And really, I don't think either one of them, like Rob said, I don't care what you do. Just, we'll do the government thing. We have to do that. And he'll take care of his appointees.
Yes.
So, but we need to just,
I think we're good. I think we're good right now with the 2 new people coming on board. And now that we have the city representation, which is good,
Yeah.
so, and we'll get Emily trained and up and ready, you're up and rolling, which will be good.
So that's good for now. Yeah.
Yes, and then like I said, we'll get the updated forms and we'll make sure everything's clean that way and the updated list. Should we meet
Is there going to be a
again?
new training session?
There's supposed to be as a part of the plan. Yeah.
And
We're
when will that
working
be?
on
Because
getting
I will be
training done.
meeting in about a week and a half.
It'll be Emily, they're working on doing several training, of employees and board members, and it probably won't be for a while because of the COVID, we can't gather.
Right.
So we really
Right.
can't do a training, a mass training because, all the board members should have ethics training. So we are working on getting that together, but I think Cheryl's going to get the packet that Betsy referenced from John, and that will be kind of an introduction to the board.
Okay.
Well, just as a
Okay.
point of information to Tracy and to Betsy, I will be leaving by the 20th of February, and I won't be back till about maybe May 5th or 6th. So everything I'll have to do, I'll do by phone or email.
Okay. All right. We'll probably do another WebEx comment that you can call into.
And also, I don't know if you guys are aware of this. I was told about this, and I should give a phone call to Joe myself. But I was told Joe Burke, who sits on the zoning board. I don't know if he still does, but Joe and his wife both had COVID very seriously, and I understand it came right on the heels of him having open heart surgery. So I don't know if Joe has gotten his financial disclosure in, or if he's going to even be doing it, or if he's going to stay on the zoning board.
Okay,
So maybe it's something we should look into.
okay, okay. All right. All right, let's try to set up another meeting, maybe within 2 weeks, and then we can kind of have updates on what we talked about today. Would that be fair?
Yeah,
Sure.
just as long as I can get an access code, I'll have
Maybe-
to go scratching around.
Yeah. All right, so maybe we're looking at, that would be February 18th. So maybe we can say, try 12:30 again on February 18th.
Betsy, if it's easier for you to do a 4:30, Cheryl and I can do that. So. whatever
No,
you-
it's just, no, 12:30 is fine. That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
What was the time for
Hold on.
February 18th? I didn't catch it.
That's what we'll do, another 12:30 lunchtime meeting on the 18th of February. And then we'll follow up on the list, the current form, and we'll figure out if there's an update, on the chairperson that's willing, and that type of thing. So, and the corrective
Right.
action.
And
plan.
Tracy, will you be sending out an email with all the directions on how to get into the access code again?
They'll do a WebEx meeting when we get closer to it. That comes from our IT department.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tracy,
All right.
I
And-
did, just so I'm clear on that, do we have to go through all kinds of formality to say the board is now 6 rather than 2? I mean, because I'm looking at the thing that I asked Emily if she got, the original formation of an ethics committee and what it spelled out. I don't want somebody coming back 3 or 4 months from now, somebody going, oh, that's not right. You know how things can get. So do we have to
Okay,
go through any
Ron?
formality to
Ron,
change the
I
board
have,
members, or do we?
I have a note on the ethics board, and it says the mayor appoints 3 members, council appoints 3 members pursuant to the city code
Good.
section 2283. They're 5-year terms, and there's to be no more than 3 members from any one political party. So
Yeah.
I do have parties
Okay.
for some of you, but I don't for all of you. So if you wouldn't mind just sending me an email with your political party affiliation so I can make sure that we're not in a conflict with that.
Tracy, what's
Yeah.
your phone number to reach you at?
At the mayor's office, 792-0100,
Yeah,
extension
01.
300.
Extension what?
3.
Your extension 3?
Yes.
Okay.
And
Okay.
try surprise, the mayor's not extension 1.
Mhm.
What is your email, Tracy?
T.A. Mills, MILLS, at cityofutica.com.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, I'm glad to got to meet Emily, got to see everybody. Thank you both, Tracy and Cheryl, for taking the detailed notes and being really so responsive. And so I know we were trying to have a mayor's meeting, but I think right now we got enough on our plate. I know he's got a lot on his plate, so we'll postpone that for now. And I think we'll just try to transition here with our new crew. And I think we got 2 great new additions, so I thank you very much. And we'll figure out our next steps as we go here. So, any
Okay, thanks.
questions?
Thanks a lot thank you for chairing as long as you have. You've done a wonderful job.
Thank you,
You
Jeanette.
bring a
Thank
lot
you.
to this board.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. We'll keep trying. We'll keep doing our best. So. All right. All right. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to hang up now.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye, Ron.
Bye.
Bye.
I don't know how to hang this up, so we'll.
Jeanette Christina.
has left the meeting.